Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times to discuss movies and horror. And today I am so excited to finally be talking to you about Talk to Me.
It's coffee time!
This has probably been one of my most anticipated movies of 2023, and I think I'm not the only one that has been just counting the days to go and see this movie because it is the newest horror A24 film. Now, A24 movies are always something that I look forward to. It doesn't even matter the genre because they are giving budget to creators that have great ideas but that would not be picked up by other companies, and their movies, either you love them or hate them, but you need to admit that they are quite unique and interesting and refreshing, and that's why I really like A24 movies. Today we're here to discuss Talk to Me, spoiler free. Talk to Me is an Australian supernatural horror movie directed by Danny and Michael Filippo, and this is their directorial debut. The twin brothers run a YouTube channel called Raka Raka and they got really popular. Some people loved them, some people hated them, but they've always putting up great content. They've always tried to do a lot of things with nearly no budget, which is quite impressive. And finally, their idea for a horror movie was picked up by none other than the studio A24. So they have been working on this for the past couple of years, and that's why they haven't really been uploading on their YouTube channel. They have been mostly doing kind of comedy in their channel, but they are also real horror fans, and this has been their feature film debut, and the movie was just released on the 27th of July, I think in some countries maybe the 28th, but this is a movie that it's just brand new in the theater, and we're here to discuss it and let you guys know if it's worth your time. When a group of friends discovers how to conjure spirits by using an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the new thrill until one of them unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. Our main character is a teenage girl called Mia. We know that she has not the greatest relationship with her dad. They are not communicating really well with each other after the loss of the mother. That is why she spends the majority of her days and even sometimes nights over at her best friend's house. And that has become kind of her new chosen family. And it's at her best friend's house where Mia informs them that there is this very new thrilling game everybody's playing and she really wants to try it, so she convinces her best friend to go to a party with her and try it out. All the characters that we meet in the movie are quite good fleshed out and they all have their own personalities. There's something that they do have in common, and that is that all characters are kind of going through their own struggles. So apart from these being a horror movie, there's also a lot of drama as well. This movie does combine horror with grief, which is something that we have been, seeing more and more in horror movies. We also had The Boogeyman this year that did that as well. But I do love when movies combine horror and grief. And this movie was also really well acted. I think they all did a really good job. And the characters all felt so real as well because they felt like real teenagers. Like they were talking and behaving like teenagers, and it just felt realistic. And in this movie, all characters are looking for a connection, for that human connection. They are reaching out. They are looking, to hold someone's hand. And that is what the hand represents in the movie. It represents that emotional connection with other people that our characters are kind of looking for. So I really enjoy that metaphor of, reaching out to someone, looking for that human contact, and having that hand that you have to hold to play the game. I like that the movie took the trope of social pressure that is kind of making you participate in all of these viral games even if you don't even want to take plays, but they turn it into something a little bit different because you don't question the game. It's not one of those movies where a character says, oh, let's play with the Ouija board, and people are like, that's all, made up, it's not true, there's no ghosts. In this game, it has been proven that it works. So nobody's questioning it. They all know that the game is for real. And I thought that was refreshing because that is something that also makes the movie so much more unsettling for the very beginning because you know this is for real. The story in general, like the basic storyline, is quite straightforward, and you're gonna get a lot more slow-paced moments than I anticipated, but it is all mixed with really great timed horror. Like moments are really intense, so it keeps kind of help the balance between more relaxed drama, character-driven moments, and those horror thrills. Even though this movie is a low budget movie, it does offer many locations and interesting shots, and they also did such an amazing job with the visuals and the practical effects. This movie could even potentially become a franchise. We could see what happens after, and we could see what other stories are out there about this game. We could see other characters playing the game. It opens up a lot of possibilities for the future. The movie shows us what happens when someone is going through grief and how the decisions that you make when you're in pain might actually affect others without you even realizing. But I think that this movie managed not to get into all of those tropes of, you know, characters going through grief, and the performance of Sophia, who plays Mia, the main character, was absolutely stunning. I think she did such an amazing job, and is part of why her character worked so well and we didn't fall into all of the tropes of a grieving character. The way the movie is set up might lead you to believe that this is yet another movie about teenagers playing with a cursed object like a Ouija board, but fear not, this is not exactly what you're gonna get. Even though we do have kind of like a possession ghost story here, it is nothing like you've imagined because this movie is brutal, and when something happens in the movie, they go all out and they do not hold back. What I really liked as well is that every violent scene, every disturbing thing that happened had a purpose. It's a movie that doesn't use the gore or the body horror for shock value, and I have to praise them for that. The movie also does not rely on jump scares, and this movie does something that is really effective for me, which is they slowly lure you into a moment and then they just make you watch something truly disturbing. The camera just holds in that moment and it forces you to watch when you are already so uncomfortable that you just want to look away, but you are forced to watch it, and it's just so intense and so personal. I absolutely love that type of horror because it's what creeps under my skin, and it's something that will stay with me after the movie is over. I love that this was a movie about possessions, but it's done so differently. It's such a fresh take on possessions and on this type of cursed object games that teenagers play with, that I was really happy to see this movie took a different direction from what I had kind of anticipated. And I do have to praise them for the practical effects, you know, the makeup, the gory moments, all of the body horror moments that the movie had. They might be maybe less than what you expected, but they are intense, and I was so like pleasantly surprised at how good they were achieved. This was a fantastic first feature film for the twin brothers, and I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5. I think this movie was probably one of the best horror movies that I have watched in 2023, one of the best new releases of this year, if not the best so far. And it's because the horror was so well executed, the practical effects were so good, and it didn't rely on jump scares. Also, the story seems really straightforward, but it will stick with you to the very end. And it's also a movie that managed to make me so uncomfortable watching. It was disturbing, and it was in a way that it just creeps under you. And I don't know, the horror was really effective for me, so I have to praise them for that. I also have to praise them for bringing such a fresh take on possessions and all the things that I have mentioned. So obviously, guys, I do recommend you to go and watch this movie in the theater. I think it's really worth your time and your money. And I also think that we should go and support this movie. It's one of the movies that if you want to watch one horror release in 2023, it has to be this one so far. I know that I had such a blast, and I'm probably gonna go back and watch it again while it's still in the theater. So let me know, you guys, down below. Are you excited for the movie? Have you already seen it? What do you think of it? Let's talk about it in the comments down below. Thank you guys as always so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next coffee time. Bye!